Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're breaking down Dan Martell's incredible strategies for taking all that scattered ADHD chaos and flipping it into literally superhuman CEO-level productivity. If you've ever felt like your own brain is just working against you, or like hitting your goals takes an impossible amount of mental strain, well, you are exactly in the right place. We're going to see how to stop fighting your brain and start using it as an absolute superpower.
Okay, let's dive into this right off the bat. The most successful people out there, they do not rely on sheer willpower. For years, we've been sold this total lie that productivity is just about grinding harder, gritting your teeth, and pushing through. But honestly, pushing a massive boulder up a hill using just brute force, that is a one-way ticket to burnout. The real magic happens when you stop pushing and instead create an environment that literally pulls you into focus like a magnet.
All right, let's jump right into phase 1. Stop using brute force.
Dan's core philosophy here is brilliant. He says, a new yes is a no to your dream. I mean, think about it. Success isn't about adding more things to your plate, it's actually about subtraction. You know that game Plinko? The one where you drop a ball at the top and it just pings off a million different pegs, totally scattering its energy before it finally lands? Well, that's kind of how most people live their lives. Every single time you say yes to a random distraction, you're just adding another peg to your board. Instead of letting your energy bounce around like that, we need to clear out the pegs and let your focus drop straight to the target.
So how do we actually do this? You build a strict not-to-do list. This becomes your ultimate filter. First, ask yourself, what low-value tasks can I just cut entirely? If you can pay someone a few bucks to do it or automate it with an app, it absolutely shouldn't be on your plate. Next up, ditch the bad habits. Like lying in bed and hitting snooze 15 times in a row. And finally, you got to identify the energy vampires. You definitely know the ones I'm talking about. Those people who just drain your energy the second you interact with them. Yep, they go right on the not-to-do list.
Now that we've cleared out the clutter, let's move right into phase 2. Protect time and attention.
Dan tells this fascinating story about fleeing to a remote mountain cabin for a massive 5-day editing sprint with a buddy. They had zero internet, no cell service, nothing. And they just worked for 16 hours a day. It really proves that making yourself truly hard to reach is absolutely crucial for generating real output. Now, to replicate that cabin vibe in your everyday life, start simple. Turn off those phone notifications. Just swipe them away. Then, start physically blocking out specific response times for your texts and emails on your calendar. You can also throw on some big headphones. That's a universal do not disturb signal. And hey, if all else fails, literally remove yourself. Go to a coffee shop and leave your laptop charger at home. That ticking clock of your battery dying will definitely force you to focus.
We also have to actively fight back against these billion-dollar tech companies by training our social media algorithms. These platforms are literally engineered to keep you hooked, but you can absolutely hack them. You need to make your feed work for you, not the other way around. Teach the algorithm exactly what you want by explicitly searching for educational stuff and unapologetically unfollowing any accounts that just waste your time.
So, with the digital noise tamed, let's look at phase 3. Engineer your deep work.
Getting into a flow state isn't just some random accident. You can actually trigger it on command. First, pick a specific physical location, like maybe a certain chair in your office, and only use it for deep work or strategizing. Pretty soon, just sitting down there tells your brain, okay, it's go time. Second, use sound to your advantage. Deep work pairs perfectly with lyric-free playlists or even specifically selected binaural beats that are proven to improve focus. And third, treat yourself like an athlete. Build consistent warm-up routines. It creates this natural rhythm that literally cues your body and mind to drop straight into the zone.
Now this next part is super counterintuitive, but it's a game changer. You actually want to start your day on hard mode by tackling your toughest domino task first. Lots of people try to start with easy, quick wins to build momentum, right? But that is kind of like eating dessert before dinner. Sure, it feels great in the moment, but it leaves you way too full to eat the nutritional meal your body actually needs. So stop picking the easy stuff first. Find that one critical needle-moving thing. Maybe it's a big marketing campaign or a really grueling workout, and just attack it first thing in the morning.
And the whole reason we go to such lengths to engineer and protect this deep work comes down to one staggering number: 23. It takes an average of 23 minutes just to refocus your brain after a single distraction. Think about that. Multitasking is basically just messing up multiple things at exactly the same time. Every single time you switch away to check a random ping or an email, you are paying a massive 23-minute penalty just to get your brain back to where it was.
So, to avoid paying that massive 23-minute tax,
You've got to structure your perfect week in advance. Start by putting your big rocks in the calendar first. These are your absolute non-negotiables, like your workouts or date night. Next, theme your days. Give Monday entirely over to marketing, Tuesday to sales, Wednesday to strategy. That way you aren't constantly context switching and frying your brain. And lastly, batch your similar tasks together into tight 30 to 45-minute sprint blocks. Planning your week around your energy like this, it is an absolute game changer for your output.
All right, moving on to phase 4, gamify and increase pressure.
Here's a fun fact. You don't usually get distracted because you're bored. You get distracted because you can't visually see the finish line. So let's artificially turn up the pressure using Parkinson's law. Basically, work expands to fill the time you give it. If you give yourself an entire month to move out of your house, guess what? It's going to be a lazy, totally distracted month. But if you give yourself 3 days, you will be insanely hyper-focused and you'll get it done. Stop giving yourself these distant, arbitrary deadlines. Start asking yourself and your team, why not Wednesday at 3 p.m. instead of just settling for the end of the month? Force that creativity.
And if that's still not enough, increasing the stakes is the ultimate hack. Dan shares this wild story about a team member named Jen. She really wanted to hit a weight loss goal, but kept falling short. So, to create some real-world stakes, she literally put her job on the line. She told the team that if she didn't hit her goal by a certain date, she would resign. I know it sounds totally extreme, but she made her success non-negotiable by entirely removing her safety net. When failing actually hurts, you simply don't fail.
You can also gamify your daily grind by tracking streaks. Dan mentions a buddy who worked out 1,200 days in a row. 1,200 days? That is the crazy power of just not wanting to break a streak. Try it yourself. Start tracking your progress visually. Put a big scoreboard right on your wall where you can't ignore it. Then, tie your major milestones to real, tangible rewards. Like maybe you book an epic family vacation when you hit day 365. Adding new levels just keeps the whole process super exciting.
Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, phase 5. Manage energy and flow.
Because look, if you don't have the literal physical energy to actually execute all these plans, the fanciest calendar in the world isn't going to save you. The core philosophy here is captured perfectly in this phrase: exhaust the body, tame the mind. See, energy isn't something you just have, it's something you create. It's a byproduct of your habits. So if your mind is racing with anxiety or bouncing between a million different ideas, you need to proactively exhaust your body first. Moving your body is the absolute best way to settle your thoughts so you could finally sit down and do your absolute best work.
You can actually manufacture energy practically out of thin air using a few specific techniques. There are proactive boosts, like literally laying out your gym clothes the night before so you don't have to think about it in the morning. But then there are reactive boosts, too. Dan talks about curing a guy's midday slump by making him drop to the office floor and do push-ups to failure. It took exactly 46 seconds, and the guy's energy instantly shot right back up to a 9 out of 10. You can even add kinetic movement to your day by swapping out those boring sit-down meetings for walking, one-on-ones, or heck, even riding a scooter around the office.
But hey, as you start applying all this, keep one major thing in mind. Your brain works differently than everyone else's. Your journey here is going to be totally unique. Treat all these habits and routines kind of like trying on new clothes. Try them on, look in the mirror, reflect on how they feel, and iterate. If a specific routine just doesn't fit your life right now, just take it off and try something else. You have total permission to constantly tweak and adjust your calendar until you find your very own perfect flow state.
So, to instantly put this focus architecture into practice today, I want to leave you with one final, provocative question. Take a hard look at your schedule and your habits. What specific, energy-draining task, habit, or person are you committing to subtract from your life right now? Figure it out, get it straight onto your not-to-do list, drop that Plinko ball straight down, and go engineer your deep work. Thanks so much for hanging out and learning with us, and we'll catch you on the next Explainer.